Welcome, welcome, beautiful beings. Welcome in. Steve! Oh my goodness, I miss you, Steve. Great to see you. Hi, Rosalina. I'm so happy you made it. Awesome. Welcome in. Hi, Jennifer. Hi, Zara. Welcome in, beautiful beings. Welcome, welcome. So happy to be here. And I'm gonna give it a few minutes. I'm sure more people will be rolling in any moment, or everyone's partying on a Thursday evening. Who knows? All good. We're gonna have an amazing time together. Isha. Hi, Isha. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you. All right, beautiful beings, welcome into the free session. August, good to see you. It's so hard not to say hi to everyone. I'm just so happy to be here with everybody. We're gonna have a beautiful time together today. And this, we've changed it to the Sovereign Souls event, right? We're going to have an amazing time. This is the first one called the Sovereign Souls free event. And we will have some free events, but there's some changes that are happening inside of this space, which is amazing. And I want to share a little bit about what we'll get into tonight, though, because let's just hold on. We don't have Sharon on our side tonight, so I am navigating two worlds of keeping an eye in the chat and talking with you. So everyone could be patient with me as we just let people roll in for the next few minutes. Thank you. Awesome. Okay, so for anyone who's new here, for anyone who this is their first, Michelle, good to see you again. For anyone who is this is their first session, welcome. I'm so happy to be here with you. We have such a beautiful time on these sessions together. And I'm going to share with you a little bit about what we're going to do tonight because these sessions are so beautiful. Just witnessing them, we can get so much out of them from witnessing them, being present in them. So I want to explain to you a little bit about what we'll do, and then we're going to dive right in. So what you can expect for tonight is we'll go through a moment and give an opportunity for perspective upgrades. If anyone didn't get their question answered during the perspective upgrade party in the chat, which was awesome, by the way, there were so many questions. There was no way for me to get to all of them, which is such a great thing because that means I got to pour into every single one of you. So if any of you didn't have a question answered, you can bring it right here and bring it into the chat. If there's any other topic you want me to riff on during the perspective upgrades, you can add it to the chat. That's great for any of you who want to like sit back and not get direct support and riff on some topics. For anyone who's new here, the way that I riff on topics is are always talking about we are always talking on the level, excuse me, we're always talking on the level of getting to the subconscious root of what's really going on in someone's life. And we get to the subconscious root so we can dissolve away the limitations of what we're not and remember the true essence of who we really are. So this space is about remembering the sovereign souls we truly are and we've always been. And sometimes we go about that by dissolving a subconscious root by working together, by doing some one-on-one sessions. And sometimes we go about it from having amazing 20-minute dialogues about someone's one question because it's awesome to do that and be able to really unpack a topic in that way. So if anyone, hi Barsha, if anyone has any questions that are ready for the perspective upgrade, you can start putting them in the chat as I begin talking a bit here. Yeah, Beth, you can definitely bring it there. If you could try to shorten that, that would be awesome because try to shorten it to the main few points you want to see me riff on. So if anyone has any questions, you want to hear me riff on a topic, it could be any area of your life, relationships, vitality, abundance, business. It could be any area where you want to see an upliftment. You can go ahead and add it to the chat. And then what we will do after perspective upgrades is we'll go into some sessions. We'll do some live sessions. And these are really beautiful to be a part of. They're really beautiful to witness. If any of you have anything you want some support, some upliftment with, you want to clear out any subconscious limitations related to, that's the time for that. Okay, Zara, if you could just reword it a little bit instead of just struggling with the money part, what about it? Okay, Beth then put it in 3 words. Okay, this is gonna be fun tonight. You guys, we're on one tonight. Okay, all right. So, okay, so we're gonna start with the perspective upgrades. Then we're gonna get into some sessions. It's gonna be really beautiful. And what I want to share as we get started with this, because I haven't had to go back and forth in a little bit of like checking the meeting room and then welcoming everyone in. So I was a little back and forth as we started this. And now that I'm feeling more settled, I want to invite all of you to settle in. So if you would like to with me, I invite you to take a few deep breaths and ground into the space. And let's set some intentions that we are going to have such a beautiful, magnificent call this evening, where every single one of you receives something that just sparks that remembering in your heart, where you receive something that's even better than you even imagined possible from coming on a Zoom call on a Thursday night. So why don't we take a few breaths together? If you haven't already, go ahead and close your eyes and let's take a few deep breaths. Just remove any distractions. We're just going to take a few and anchor in this space together, ground our energies here, prepare the space. So if you haven't already, you can go ahead and close your eyes just for a moment and allow a deep breath to flow in through the nose, all the way down to the bottom of the belly and out through the mouth. And feel your body relaxing more and more as you simply bring your awareness to your breath in this moment. And now, when you're ready, take another deep breath in through the nose, all the way down to the bottom of the belly, and allow the breath to circle back up and out through the mouth. And with your next deep breath in through the nose, letting it flow all the way down to the bottom of the belly, allow yourself to put down any distractions, to be present here and now, to set the intention in this moment that your heart receives what you are looking for and more. Perhaps even one sentence said on the call tonight can spark that remembering of who you really are and how magnificent it truly is to be you. You have stepped into a space that is dedicated to the sovereign soul you have always been, the magnificent being you have always been. And what tonight's call is about remembering that. Remembering the sovereign soul you've always been. Beautiful. With your next inhale, let life give you a breath. Instead of taking a breath, let life give you a breath. Deep inhale, let life give you a breath. And exhale. Good. Let's have a magnificent call together. Go ahead and bring a big smile to your face. Take a deep breath into the smile. Notice how that subtly shifts the energy immediately. How silly we humans are, how simple it can be sometimes. Take a big smile, make the smile bigger, breathe into it. When you're ready, you can gently open your eyes and come back to the space. Amazing, beautiful. I'm feeling more grounded. I needed that. So I hope you are feeling super grounded and really excited for tonight's call. So thank you for the questions in the chat. We'll get to those in a moment. As I mentioned before, this call is dedicated to the sovereign souls. You all are the magnificent beings you truly are. It's dedicated to remembering. So a lot of what we do is focus on what could be the subconscious root to some of these things going on in our lives that we want to uplift, we want to transform. But the reason we talk about what's the subconscious root to what could be going on is because you already are a sovereign soul. You're already free. You're a magnificent being. And there are moments where we forget that. And that's why this space exists, to help us remember. And a way that we go about that, one way, we have many ways we go about that here, but one way we go about that is to see where we might be subconsciously muddling up that infinite divine nature of the being that we are, subconsciously suppressing it, just because we might have learned something before we knew better. That created a subconscious program, a way of association with a certain area of our life that could be generating our reality to play out the way it is. So we take the approach of dissolving away what we're not to remember who we've always been. And sometimes you see me work with people, especially if you're in the mastermind, this is coming through a lot more and more, where we go directly to the source of remembering who you really are, because it really does do the solving for us. The true being, the capital T true self, the observer, the infinite being you've always been. Okay, so are you ready to dive in? Have an amazing session today? Yes, August is ready. Amazing, really beautiful. Okay, let's go up here. So Beth's question is about vitality, strength, and self-love. She said she's ready to transform the way she feels and moves in her body, creating a space of vitality, strength, self-love. Um, Her mobility became limited and pain took over, and it was making it impossible to live the active life she once had. Okay, so I want to know if you still have the experience of pain now, because I want to know if that's a past. I want to know what you're dealing with now. Okay, so I want to know if you're still experiencing the pain now, because we don't need to go into what could be causing that if that's not your now experience. Because you just mentioned you're no longer living to live in survival mode, and she's choosing to nourish her body with compassion, healthy habits, movement, and joy. This is beautiful, and it's her time to reclaim freedom and allow her body to reflect healing and strength. Okay, so I want to know if you could put in the chat. I want to know, Beth, I'll come back to this. Okay, some pain and not like what it was. Okay, so I'm going to talk about what it could be at the subconscious root of things like this and enhancing our relationship to our body in and of itself, especially when there's been so much survival mode. So this is one that would be really effective to go back and forth on a longer session. If you're able to turn your camera on the session tonight, it would be really great to be able to go back and forth on that a little bit more, but I will do the rapid fire perspective shift on it for now. When there is an experience of the theme that we're seeing here with Beth, so a constant pain, she doesn't have that anymore, but she has some. And then some weight crept on, and no matter how hard I work to release it, it never seems to stay off. That is the exact reason it never seems to stay off. And that is giving us a big insight to where the pain could be coming from, too. No matter how hard I try to release it. Often, when there's something like pain that seems more chronic, pain areas in the body, it's because there's a lot of tension. And often people who have a lot of tension in terms of pain in the body, it depends on where it is in the body, right? If someone has pain in the solar plexus area, they could be storing anger. So it depends on where it is in the body. But what I'm picking up on here is the hard work and a lot of the themes that we talked about from your other question in the chat of the it's all on me energy. I want you to think about someone who lives in a world of it's all on me to figure it out. I have to be the one to figure it out, who is living in survival mode. It's sort of like you could put the visual that someone has the world on their back. Makes sense? So that's where, and it definitely depends on where the pain is too. But that's why I didn't want to necessarily go too far into that because I know that you're doing that work, but I did want to share that with everyone. But the very question, the very sentence of I need to try so hard to lose the weight is why the weight exists. It's the very I in that question that thinks it has weight to lose that is the illusion. That's the lie. But what if there was nothing wrong with your weight? What if your weight was exactly as it was meant to be for your body at that time? There are all these ideas we create because of society. Doctors say things like, you got to be within this percentile, having no idea what's going on mentally, emotionally, spiritually with that being. No idea what kind of protection mechanisms were there. No idea what that being needs, extra nourishment, whatever it is. No idea what that body's natural and that spirit's natural makeup is. As if we can have an average percentile. Do you guys realize how much of nonsense that is? Like how BS that is? We're meant to be unique individual beings. We're not meant to have a percentile like machines, right? So let's go back to the mind bender. Because if we could get this one point, we could probably end the call right here. The very idea that she said, I need to try so hard to lose it and it doesn't stay off is where she's getting trapped in the illusion. So if we want to have a beautiful time with really having the experience of this, and any of you can join me in this answer, who is the I? Who is the I that has the issue? Sometimes that answer can snap you right back into remembering your true self, not the ego I, not the personality. So when we go into the true self, the limitless soul, the sovereign soul you truly are, the limitless beings you've always been, does the limitless being you've always been have an issue with weight? No way. No way. Right? Now, here's what happens when we realize the lies we've been telling, because our subconscious will reinforce the stories we tell. So if we go out into the world, I want to really break this down so we can see the power, and every single one of you can remember the power of your words and the power of your subconscious. So if someone tells the story of I'm overweight, I'm experiencing pain, especially people who get diagnosed with chronic pain, I have so much compassion for this. But the idea that they're saying, I have this is the illusion. Because their true I, their capital I, their true self does not have any of that. But if they say they do, their subconscious, like the diligent servant it is, will work 95% of the day, every single day, to reinforce what we're telling it. The subconscious is an amazing servant to your spirit. But it becomes an impediment when we don't know that. And we use the power of our creative word, the power of your creative word as an infinite creator being to say, I have weight issues. Now let's zoom out. Are you guys with me on this discussion? Should we slow down? Should we break it down a little bit more? Are you guys with me? So now let's backtrack a little bit. I mean, I can just talk for an hour and a half on this because this is the whole point. Remembering the true self, remembering your power as a creator, not taking your words so lightly and what word am I looking for? Superfluous, whatever, and not just throw the word around. Not just throw these words around as if they mean nothing. They mean everything. They are generating your experience, and your subconscious will listen and not only reinforce it in your outward world, but your body, your cells are listening. Your cells are listening to every word you say, consciously and subconsciously. So, in this moment, if we can remember in this moment that I don't have weight issues, Beth doesn't have weight issues. She created a story that she did. And yes, there could have been protective mechanisms that were going on, but we're taking a different approach to this because we've already addressed that in the free community chat. So I know she's working on it. I know she's aware of it. She is already working on creating freedom from survival mode, right? So we're dissolving the illusion that's keeping the subconscious reinforcing the weight or reinforcing remnants of the pain. Now, when someone's in when someone's in survival mode, that would make a lot of sense for pain. It's a constant bracing. Guys, all of these things are connected. The energies we're in, they're connected to the things going on in our body. So, what is happening when someone's always in survival? They're bracing for, let's say, we're relating to the unknown, something that we have no idea what's going to happen. But if someone's in survival mode, their relationship with the unknown is, I'm not going to be okay. So, what they're then doing in that survival mode is then saying, bracing all the time, tense. What would happen if your body was tense all the time? Your cells were tense all the time, right? And you can just take a deep breath and soften. We're not talking to any of you, we're just giving the example. We don't need to tense the body as we're talking about this. Okay, but do we get the point of where I was going with this? It's the very I have this that's creating the experience of the subconscious reinforcing it, which is why she kept having the experience of not being able to keep it off, because she saw someone as someone who needed to lose weight. But when she realizes what we're saying here, even in a brief moment of remembering, and she says, wait a minute, the infinite being that I am does not need to lose weight. The infinite being that I am is free. Now I want you to feel into how a body would be when it remembers that it is an infinite being who's free. How would the body feel? Maybe lighter would be the first thing. You see? It's uncanny how even in one sentence we can pick up where things are happening on a subconscious level that are generating the experience. Isn't it amazing when we really look at it in this way? When we really see how connected everything really is? So here is where we would go into, is it true that you absolutely have an issue with keeping weight off? It's like, no, the real you doesn't. It's something your personality is experiencing because you keep reinforcing it with the story that it's happening. But when you realize that you're the infinite being observing all of it, and the personality is a play, it's ever changing. How many times have all of your personalities changed? We're a different person every day, especially in the awakenings that are happening now, more and more and more rapid. So what is it that keeps us in the same cycles? What is it that keeps us in the same cycles? It's what's going on consciously and subconsciously. The way we're describing it. People think they're using words to describe their circumstances, but they're not. They're using words that create and reinforce their circumstances to be that. Right? So if in this moment, Beth can remember in this moment, even a glimpse of this would make radical shifts. That her infinite being doesn't have pain. Her infinite being doesn't have anything going on with weight. And she can allow herself to feel the free being she's always in. Then tune more into that. Realize right now I am safe. This is how we shift things out of survival. Right now I am safe. The infinite being that I've always been has nothing going on with weight, isn't even concerned about it. The infinite being that I am is so grateful and honored to be expressing through this human experience that is like a blip of an eye in this span of infinity. And the infinite being is aware. It's not judging a weight. That's what the human self does. But when we associate more with the infinite being that's free, then the tension, the grips the subconscious has, where it's reinforcing the very thing that she doesn't want, start dissolving away. So she ended the sentence with, she's choosing to nourish her body with compassion, healthy habits, movement. And what we're inviting in here is to nourish the body with the vitality of the true essence of your being. Remembering the free sovereign soul you've always been. Remembering the infinite capacities of your true self, capital T. And letting that reanimate every cell of your body. And being meticulous simultaneously To not tell the old stories that she has this and this is what always happens. No, it doesn't. Every now moment is a new now moment. That now the vitality of your being can come alive in every cell of your body, create harmony. And who knows what would happen with the lightness that comes with realigning with the free nature, the true nature of our being. Who knows? Let's see what happens. Keep us updated. So remember, the reclaim the freedom to allow the body to reflect the healing strength that already lives within you. So what we're doing right now is we're realigning with it. We're remembering it because the being that you are is already free. Every single one of you, I'm talking to every single one of you. The infinite being that you are is already free, has the solutions you're looking for. People are like, okay, I'm gonna sign off now. I got the answers. It's the point. It's the point. Okay, we're gonna keep moving because I can talk for a full hour on one question. If you are new here, now you know. Now you know how it goes down. Okay, so Zara said here, I actually figured out all my questions. It's amazing, Zara. It was great to see you again and support you in that question, but still struggling with the money part. I'm wondering. Okay, so she did answer differently there. So I'll answer that in a moment. Um, oh, August, that's so nice of you to offer to help. I'm all set now. I was just a little going back and forth in the beginning, but it's so nice of you to offer. You're amazing. Okay. Jennifer said, why do things feel harder the more we learn? She said, I have difficult situations to deal with emotionally, financially, but she also does have the means and support to deal with it. That's amazing, Jennifer, that you realizing that you do have the means and support. That's a big shift in and of itself. Knowing that you have the means, knowing that you have the support, that sentence in and of itself shows us that someone has confidence in themselves. You know, they're trusting themselves at a different level. So Jennifer's saying here, I know I have the means and the support to deal with it. It just feels so much harder, and makes her wish that she didn't start at all. Okay, this is something that can happen in the personal development journey when we get tripped up in the personality, the little I, the small self, the ego, more than the true nature of your being. Because let's break this down. The personality is ever changing. We're going to talk about the personality and the ego as synonymous. Okay? These two things are synonymous. The personality, when I say little I, the ego, these things are all interchangeable. But let's look at the ego's function. The ego's function is always serving and looking to protect and preserve what is. The personality is always changing and growing and is never the same. So when we're living more associated, we can call the personality, the ego, the surface self, when we're as Jennifer, you know, the current Jennifer, when we're more associated with that, the surface self, then now let's look at the mechanism of what's always happening. We have a personality that's always changing and an ego that's always trying to keep it the same. That's a fuckery, isn't it? Like, what? And that's when the personal development work starts to feel like a fuckery. Because there's no end to that, right? Because the ego is always trying to protect and preserve the thing that's always growing. And the thing that's always growing is incessantly wanting to work on itself to grow. Not because, and we're going to talk about the next layer of this, but then the ego is there saying, oh, no, 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 you got to stay the same. Could we get why it would feel hard functioning from that place? It would be like a constant fight, a constant push. Does it feel like that? Yeah. Yeah. The beautiful thing is that you already have the solution, and we're going to realign you with that even for a moment right now through this, right? So, the reason why it feels so hard when we're functioning from that place is because of that fuckery that's going on. Excuse my language. But it's just wild. It's really wild when we're existing from that self. So I'm going to call this the ego, the personality. We're going to call this the surface self. And the mastermind, that's what we call it. That's like the PhD on subconscious freedom work that I run. We would call it a PhD. That's what other teachers have called it who have gone through it. They're like, what the? I just went through a PhD. What just happened? So in the mastermind, we call this the surface self. You can think of it from other spiritual teachings, the ego, the little I, the fearful part of the personality, whatever you call it there, it's the personality. When we're existing from the surface self, what it's like is like if you look at a really tall tree that has very shallow roots. Now let's think about a big windstorm coming in to a really tall tree with shallow roots. What happens? Because it's living so close to the surface, it snaps easily, doesn't it? Right? That's what growth, change, challenges in life feel like when we're existing more from that personality that thinks it needs to figure it out, it needs to fight, it needs to change, it needs to grow, it needs to heal. That's existing from the surface self. So then a wind comes and it's exhausting because that thing's like holding on for dear life, trying not to get blown over. But when we're existing from what we were talking about before, the true self, the you that's beyond Jennifer, the you that's been observing it the entire time, that ineffable you, the you that is beyond the name of Jennifer, that's observing Jennifer, the true essence of your being. What that's like is like a tree that has very deep roots in the body of Earth. Living from that energy is living with deep roots in the true essence of your being. Which, what can happen in that moment is the ego's need to try, to figure it out, to make it better, to heal, to fix. That gets to finally take a breath, take a breather, and dissolve away, even for a moment. We're not saying it's not going to come back for a moment. We're in the human realm where we're going to be growing things and improving. It's a beautiful part of being here. But it's just when we're only in that part, it becomes exhausting living on the surface self. When people are really, really living from the surface self, that's when you notice that, and maybe you've gone through a period of this, that people get triggered very easily all the time. Have you ever been around someone that something happened and when you saw it happen, it wasn't that big of a deal, but that person like flipped out? Have you ever seen that happen before? And you're like, bro, like not that big of a deal. Like, what's going on? It's because like we could have so much compassion for this now as we talk about it from this level. Because when that's happening, it's because someone's living from the surface self. They're not anchored in the true essence of their being. So when a wind blows, it's threatening their whole personality, the idea of their whole self. Someone like that has a business issue and they're freaking out. They're not settled, they're not able to move forward with it. It's taken over their whole lives. Someone anchored in the rooted essence of their being is like, okay, I'm dealing with what I'm dealing with, not my preference. They might even say, this sucks. But what's holding it is the energy of knowing what I'm about to say, which is what we want to start bringing you over to for a moment. So just take a deep breath. The energy that the version of you that's observing this is already free, is an infinite reservoir of peace. Like any lake on the surface of the water, that could be on the surface, there's a storm. You can see the rain really hitting the top of the waters. It looks crazy. Like even if it's a lake, you see the waves really going. But what happens when you go deeper into the lake? It's still. So when we're living from that remembrance of the true essence of the being, it's not so hard to do this work because we're existing from the part of us that's already free, that's already figured it out, that's observing the human self, which is adorable. It's adorable. The human self that's like, okay, I'm going to go to a realm and perceive that I forget. And then I'm going to run around and I'm going to get all the information again and I'm going to remember and I'm going to forget that the whole universe is working things out for me. And I'm going to pretend that it's all on me to figure it out, forgetting that we came to an earth that has food all over for it, has abundance everywhere. But I'm going to go in my own little silo and think it's all on me to figure it out. Exhausting, isn't it? So, in this moment, what I invite is taking a deep breath and becoming aware that you're aware right now. If you guys do this with me, you might notice the brainwaves shift a bit. This cannot be taught through theory. This cannot be taught through writing notes, reading about it. This is experience, the experience of your true nature. Just for a moment, become aware that you're aware. If you're aware of your thoughts going on in your mind in this moment, then those thoughts cannot be who you really are. They're passing. So, who is the one aware of them? Even if you tap into it for for a moment, what happens? Maybe you notice your brainwave shift a little bit. Maybe you notice a deeper level of calm. Something that cannot be described but is felt in every single one of our hearts, even if it feels hard to tune into. It's okay. Just become aware that it's hard to tune into. When you become aware of your thoughts, you don't have to fight them. You can put the fighting down and just be aware. That awareness fuels the essence of your being with the infinite reservoir of true inner power, where now we can make jokes about the human self that runs around thinking we need to figure it out, thinking we don't have enough time, thinking we got to go attain a goal. But can you feel what could occur when you're tapped in to the true essence of that infinite reservoir of true inner power? You don't have to force anymore. The forcing comes from the small personality that thinks it needs to be the one to make it happen. But you are in a stream of infinite intelligence, divine order. A divine order, like the Zen saying, with every single snowflake there is, every single snowflake falls in the perfect place. That's the level of order that exists in every single one of your lives, every single one of our lives. But it's getting tripped up in the personality. Like we said before, remember that person we described where we said, have you ever been around someone who flips out really easily? Something's not really a big deal, but you notice that person flips out? We can have so much compassion for that. It's just because, like any of us have been through that. I don't want to call anyone out even because we've all been there. Anytime we're more associated with the ego, we get tripped up in the dramas. And then what the ego does is it says, I need to try to keep it the same. And if it's not rooted in the true essence, then what's happening is it's threatening the whole personality, right? So it feels like the whole body can go into tension there. But what happens when you realign with the true nature of your being is you go into a different level of remembering, where you don't have to be the one to try to figure it out, where you remember that divine order that exists in this universe. Like we said before, the Zen saying that with every snowflake there is, every snowflake falls in the perfect place to make an even bed of snow. That's the level of intelligence and order that is happening in every single one of your lives. But when we live associated with the personality, the ego is trying to keep things the same. And if things don't go how we expect, then we think, oh no, it's going wrong. The ego's not doing this because it's bad. It's just doing that because it needs your guidance. It needs the true essence of your being to lead the show, not the small self that's freaking out when the wind blows. It needs your true guidance, so the true essence of your being that reminds this part of you, hey, this might be challenging, but I want to remind you that everything that's happening for you, that everything that's happening in your life is happening for you. That it might not make sense now, but the divine order of your life is at play. And everything works out in the end. So let's see what the opportunity is here. I wonder what's going on here. The ego, the small self, says, why is this happening? Why is this happening to me? Because it thinks, oh no, this didn't go how I expect. Why is this happening? What did I do wrong? What's the subconscious limitation? The true self, which is in every single one of us, every single one of you, says, ooh, I wonder what's going on here. I wonder. I wonder how this is all happening for me. Even for a moment, I want you to feel that you step into a world where you remember that it all works out in the end. It all works out. And if it hasn't worked out, isn't the end. It's a part of the journey of it working out. How would you get to start to feel there? Right? You don't have to try so hard. You're doing good. There's a part of you that's already free. It's already free. But this human experience is so precious because we go through the experience of remembering and it's felt and we forget. And it's through the contrast of forgetting that the remembering is so sweet. And what's amazing about the divine order of this orchestration is life is going to guide you there. And it's so much less about us trying to do it and so much more about us being receptive to it. Nice smile that's coming over. I feel like we just like put I don't know, what are like relaxing drugs? I just blew marijuana through all of your streams in your house. My brainwaves change when I talk about this, right? It's so beautiful, isn't it? Yeah. It's not on you to figure it out. Your true self already knows. And what gets to happen is, of course, we're living in a physical realm where we're contributing. We want to see beautiful things happen. Yes, of course. We're going to do our best. And you get to be so proud of every version of you that dedicated yourself to this work. So proud. It's so amazing. And what gets to happen is the freedom of knowing you don't have to try so hard. Life is guiding you. There's a version of you already free that's always at peace, that already has the answers. And you can trust life to hold you, to guide you. And that even if things are happening that you might not have expected, or you wanted a different outcome, or you wanted to happen faster, trust the divine timing, trust the unfolding. And instead of saying, why is this happening? I wonder what's going on here. I wonder how this is happening for me. Like someone sitting in traffic who's going, oh, there's people effing traffic, blah, blah, blah. What gets to happen when we remember from this energy we're talking about is we then say, I wonder what's going on here. I wonder if this traffic is making me need to allowing me to show up at the place at the perfect time. So then you meet the person who has the answer to the very project that you're working on. And if you didn't get stuck in traffic, then you would have never gotten there at that moment to meet that person. All of you have experienced this magic before. It's always happening. It's just sometimes the ego gets too caught up thinking it should be a different way and misses the person that's right there because it's too worried about being late, right? So remember, it's working out for you. You don't have to try so hard anymore. Allow life to guide you. You don't even have to try to do the personal development work when you're looking at life as your friend in your transformation as a mirror of you. Life will show you, it will lead you. And in the meantime, you can enjoy. Do you think that might feel a bit lighter? Beautiful. Amazing. All right, Steve says, sometimes we get in a loop. Who's we, Steve? Sometimes, Steve says, sometimes I miss you, Steve. I miss he's one of the funniest people ever. I miss you,
It's
Steve.
you too.
Steve said sometimes we get in a loop of always trying to fix ourselves. Wow, that was what we were talking about. Okay. What do you think about coming from that place versus I'm fine how I am and growing in joy and understanding from there? So I would say that we pretty much just talked about it, didn't we? So the thing about it is the true self doesn't need to be fixed. There's nothing broken. And the thing about, I want to take a different approach to this since we just talked about it. I just want to talk about it a little differently. Is that the very nature of what we experience here is growth. The universe itself, it's always expanding, it's always growing. But what happened in human society is they thought that healing happens because something's broken. I'm pretty sure even if you look up the dictionary word of healing, it says like repairing something that's damaged or something. It's nonsense. We've got to rewrite that in the dictionary because we don't heal because something's broken. We heal because we're transforming, we're expanding, we're evolving. Healing is an integration of a version of us that might have served us for some time, doesn't serve us anymore. We integrate it, it evolves to something new. That's healing. That's the true healing process. So if we're in a universe that's always expanding, as above, so below, as within, so without, if we're in a universe that's always expanding, then we too will always be expanding, always growing. But what causes a trip up of that is two things. One, when someone thinks they're doing that because they're broken and something's wrong with them. If someone has a subconscious identity, and to backtrack a little bit, subconscious identities are worlds of words that we look through. So that means all of our perceptions, like putting on lenses, will see everything in the world through that identity. So someone who might get stuck in a loop of fixing themselves would be in a subconscious identity of there's something wrong with me or I'm broken, right? If it's like heavy. If it's not heavy and it's just like, no, I just love to improve, then it's a bit lighter. It's like, okay, yeah, your human self is always improving. And remember, it's already done. Remember the true essence of the being like we talked about before. That's already figured it out. And it's so much less about, I need to work on myself constantly, and so much more about, let's dissolve away that whole idea and live from the energy of joy and let life lead us and show us when there's a moment to transform. We'll know it. We'll get triggered by something. We notice it's lasting a little bit. It's not like, okay, I'm triggered by something, I'm calmed down in a little bit. It's like, I'm triggered by something, I think about it for 3 days. Okay, we got a little bit of work to do. But it's not work, it's expansion. It's because there's a part of you beckoning you for a new level of your reality field, which is such a different way to look at it, right? It's an expansion of consciousness that's saying, hey, we're trying to expand over here, but there's a wall we're hitting. And that wall could be a trigger. That wall could be a glass ceiling in finances. That wall could be whatever it is, a relationship cycle. It's just the expansion of consciousness that's hitting a wall and feeling like it wants to kind of break free of that wall. Now, if someone has a subconscious identity of thinking there's something wrong with them, then that would be why they feel so like it's not easy, like a quick shift to just change the mind about that. If someone has an identity that they thought because of something that happened when they were young that there's something wrong with them, they're broken, something like this, then when I'm talking about making the subtle shift to know that you're always expanding, you're always growing, that healing doesn't mean you're broken, it means you're expanding. If it feels hard to even feel that, if it feels hard to even grasp, then there might be something a bit deeper, like an identity that's making a lens that's causing that not to be able to be heard. Does that make sense? How these subconscious identities work? So I would say when you're thinking I'm fine how you are, that's truth. You're always fine as you are. Think about the now moment, every single one of you in this now moment. The entire universe conspired for you to exist as you are in this moment. You are not a fluke as you are. You're not some work in project, like a homework assignment that People are worried about, I don't know, am I going to pass the test? It's not what's happening. The universe is not testing you. So the words of I'm fine how I am, that is true and always true. The true essence of your being is. It's already free. It's observing this play of creation. Then, when the personality comes in and says, and I'm getting triggered by this a little bit, or the personality comes in, and I really, really want to stop cycling through this with my partner, right? And it's like, okay, we have an expansion moment. But it feels so different when it's seen as an expansion moment. When it's not looked through the lens as if it's like some other damaged thing that needs to be fixed. It's not. No one here is damaged. No one. No matter what anyone told you. No way. None of you. The entire universe conspired for you to exist right now. I want us to really like feel this with me for a moment. The entire universe conspired for you to exist as you are. But the human self, the personality is saying, oh, no, no, but that's wrong. That's wrong right now. That thing that the universe conspired to exist as it is, that's damaged. That's got to change. It's like silly. Can you guys feel this? It's silly when we think about it like that. And it's not about something needing to change. You are beautiful as you are. Every single one of you are walking miracles. Every one of you. With what you've been through on this planet, with how it's been for the past decades, hundreds of years, and you're sitting here in a conversation about being sovereign souls, you are a freaking advanced being. You're good. It's just there might be some subconscious identities that make you think you're not. But that doesn't mean that you are not fine. The real you is fine. And life itself will show you when it's time to clear out an identity or story. Because it will be that thing in life that is like, oh my goodness, I feel like I keep hitting the same cycle. And it's not because there's anything wrong. It's not because someone's destined for that. It's because your spirit is looking for an expansion point to reveal more of your essence. Your consciousness is wanting to expand out of the confinements. So you're hitting a wall, you're hitting a cycle, not you, but someone would be hitting a wall, someone would be hitting a cycle. And then we're like, okay, now we reflect on what silliness my consciousness create, not my consciousness, my ego, my personality created, that the subconscious is now creating a world where I keep hitting that wall. But can you feel that it's lighter when we just look at it like that? It's not you. None of you are limited. None of you. The real you is not limited. But what could be happening is that there's just some stories, some identities, some subconscious narratives going on that are blocking the true essence. But you are not limited. Tune into the true self, and that could dissolve it all. Or come talk about it on here, and we remind you of creating freedom from any of those limitations. All right, so I wanted to talk about that in a little bit of a different light because I wanted to reframe the world of healing because people think healing needs to happen because people are damaged and broken, which creates a whole world of the healing industry that is just has got to shift. No one's broken, no one's damaged, no one needs to be fixed. What is needed, what the soul is crying out for, is to remember that you've never been broken, that the things you might have learned before you knew better because of society, because of what you might have been through, that those things don't have to define you. Nothing in your past has to define you. Nothing has to have the power over that. At any moment, you can decide that nothing has the power to define you, that you are a free sovereign being, and that this is who you now are. right? All right, so I went on tangents with that, Steve, but if you have any other questions about that, you can let us know. Awesome. Okay, so Zara said, well, thank you, Marsha, for the thank you. I just saw that. So good to see you, Marsha. I miss you too. Okay, so Zara said, I think everything I learned with money, I understand it, but my mind questions it sometimes. That's maybe what's going on. What is your mind questioning? Questions what? Because money is like, if we think about money, it's different for everyone. So, what is your mind questioning about money? You need to know what so I can talk about it a bit more. Um, Isha said there is a lot of energy of hate towards the self that she feels, even though on some level she knows that isn't the truth, but she finds it coming in the way in various aspects of her life. Is the way to heal this through processing those emotions. She feels a lot of resistance to trying to change her thoughts around this. But at the same time, it feels like the emotion is continuously there, no matter how much she feels into it and allows it. Yeah. So the deeper hurt of living that way for so long, I would say. Because like now you're aware and you've had some powerful discussions about some of areas of where it came from, right? That's the intellectual processing piece. But there's two elements of this. There's one element of where a part of you could think it's getting something out of this. So, for example, if the subconscious associated talk like that, self hate, self criticism, if the subconscious made an association with that's how you motivate yourself, you know how like the football coach mentality, like yelling at people to motivate them, right? So, if the ego still has association of like, but this is how we grow, this is how we make sure we do a good job, then there might be a little bit of reworking to show the ego part, the personality. Hey, I know we might have made a subconscious association that this is how we do better by being hard on ourselves, but it's actually ineffective because it makes us want to shrink and not do anything, right? So a little bit of self-dialogue, guys. This is also connected to anything that's more of an addiction. These two things are similar energies because we can never get enough of something that almost works. Self criticism can almost work to make us do stuff. It can almost work. It can really cause someone to be meticulous about looking at details, right? It can really make someone be like, no, I'm going to prove it wrong. I'm going to do better, right? But it almost works because it's actually limiting the true essence from just freely doing and being amazing. It doesn't actually work because the energy of bringing it down causes a force. This is physics. It causes a force to have to break through that energy to go. But because there might have been some breakthrough moments that happen, the subconscious and the ego were like, okay, this is the way we do it. This is how we're going to be really high achievers, right? So there's one level of this. Are we following? Are we following how I'm talking about this? So there's one level that could be a reworking of the conversation with the ego part of you, just awareness of it, even in this moment. If there's any of that present, as soon as the part of us sees that's not effective to get that outcome, it's more open to a new way, right? So if a part is reaching toward something like a phone for connection, and it realizes, wait a minute, I don't actually feel more connected for that. Now there's a more of an opening on a subconscious level for something else that could bring connection. So there's something, so if the brain sees the brain, the personality, the ego, if it's, there's so many words for these things. I wish there could just be like a more universal words everywhere for these things. But anyway, that's where the whole one religion issue came. So we don't need to repeat that one. Anyway, so now to come back to this, if there's something in the ego that's really gripping on, like any addictive thing, and the reason I'm talking about this is because everything that we do, there's a subconscious reason for it. There's a part of us that thinks it's going to get something beneficial from it. So, what can happen is that we can show that part that this is not effective to what we actually want, which then allows us to open up for something that could be more effective. So, if you look at an example of that, it's like, let's look at someone who has a lot of self criticism and then someone who's really, really encouraging themselves. They're their own best friend. They look in the mirror every day. They're so kind to themselves. They're their own best friend. That person is going to be way more confident, is going to feel lighter, is going to have more energy, which actually means they're going to be more effective at what they do. So, one part of it is dissolving away any of the old subconscious associations with what a part might think it gets out of that. Now, the other part of this is the deeper emotion. Like we said before. So, when we're creating transformation consciously, emotions are a really inadequate depiction of truth. Often they're old. They're just because there's been a program there for quite some time. Sometimes shifting the thoughts and shifting the attention will start to shift that over time. It just needs a little bit of time to sink in, right? Emotions are addictive. They play out like patterns. Every thought will send a molecule. If we really think those thoughts over time, we send something that scientists now call molecules of emotion down to the body where we experience it as a feeling. And sometimes that process takes a little bit of time to rewire. Now, when you think the emotions in terms of a lot of resistance to try to change the thoughts around this, one, what we just talked about would dissolve a bit of the resistance when you really see the ineffectiveness of being that way, but not in a self-hate type of way, in a way of like, oh, this just isn't effective, right? It's not effective to an outcome we really want. And then so that will start to dissolve the resistance. And then in terms of the emotion that's continuously there, no matter how much you feel into it, sometimes it's starting to guide it to a new emotion. If you feel like you keep feeling into it, processing it, emotional signatures, it's like this week's modules in the mastermind, we talk about the language, like the emotional signatures that you learned, right? So some baseline emotions we use in the mastermind to talk about this. Sometimes we have baseline emotions that we just learned in formative years. And we don't realize that that's a signature we just keep tuning into. Sometimes we've just got to shift the emotion. Now, if you were saying, I'm not letting myself feel the emotion, that would be something different. It would be like, okay, let yourself process it, let yourself feel it, let it come through the body, let it move through your system. But since you're saying in here so clearly that you let, no matter how much you feel it, that's just tuning into a similar frequency, like tuning a dial to that frequency over and over. To where you get a point where it's like, wait a minute, this isn't who I am. No matter what anyone has said or taught me, there is no reason, well, not no reason, but I would never hate myself because I am my own best friend. And if you look at like the subconscious level of things, which I know you are already, which is why I talked on a different level, but I want to bring this out to everyone. So if we look at the subconscious level of something like that, the questions we would ask is why what why would we hate something? What are we actually saying about that thing? Well, we'd be saying that there's something wrong, that it's bad, that it's not good enough, that it's damp, like things like that. So clearing the subconscious root of that would be realizing that there's nothing wrong with you, no matter what anyone's told you. Loosening up in the world of being able to make mistakes, that you're free to make mistakes, which you've been doing a great job with, right? So the subconscious work you're already doing. So now if you feel like you're feeling the emotion, now we no longer attach the stories to it. It's just an old emotion playing out like an old record that now you get to introduce a new emotion. So I'm going to ask you to unmute with this. And I'm going to, if that's okay with you, can you unmute? Okay. So let's see what we can introduce in this moment. So Isha, if you were, because actually we'll backtrack a little bit. So when we talked about the hate of self, right? Because that's pretty intense, like the word hate. The beautiful thing is that just a distorted frequency of love. If you were apathetic toward the self, that would be different. That would be more intense than hate. But hate shows us that you do care. It's just an intense energy, right?
Yeah.
So when I ask the question of why would someone have hate toward themselves, which of those identities stuck out to you? Like, which of the underlying, do you feel like you've done work on that, or did something else come up? Did you feel like something else came up?
Um, I think what's been most prominent in the last 2 weeks is I'm not good enough
Mm-hmm. For what?
for things I want to achieve or things I want in my life.
Okay. Okay. So this is, I'm going to bring this out to the group and come back to you in a moment. So she said, I'm not good enough for things she wants to achieve and things she wants in her life, right? I'm not good enough is like a one that everyone kind of goes to first. And this isn't any judgment toward you, Isha. I just want to bring it to everyone because it's so common, right? This is a common one because of how our society programs people into thinking that they're inadequate. Right? So everyone goes through layers of this, which is why I'm bringing it out to everyone. But what I would want you to say next, if anyone ever feels I'm not good enough, I want you to ask yourself, for what? What do I think I'm not good enough for? I just wanted to bring that out for everyone because then you're going to reveal more of the real information going on underneath the surface. Okay? Okay, thank you so much for letting me do that, Isha. Thank you for giving a moment. Okay, so I'm not good enough for the success and the things you really want. What is it that you think the success and the things that you really want would give you?
Freedom. Um, then what came up was a sense of worthiness, which I know is inherently wrong because
Mm-hmm.
your worth is inherent. And it doesn't come from things outside of you. But that's what came up when you asked that question.
Yeah, so even the old grips on the stories are dissolving away, right? You can tell you've done the work on the worthiness because even as you said it, it doesn't have as much weight, right? It doesn't have as much tangled upness because you know, is it true that, because for you, Isha, we'll do it real quick, but is it true that you're unworthy?
No,
Why not?
because my worth is inherent.
Take a breath with that. Anyone here that's ever felt that, your worth is inherent. It never changes, no matter what you do, no matter what you've done. Your worth is inherent as the infinite being that you are. That's unchanging. It has nothing to do with your bank account, what you've accomplished. Your worth is inherent. You are a walking miracle. Okay. So, Isha, this is so beautiful because some of the old subconscious associations of old identities, this is how identities can sometimes work. We reveal an identity, like she said, she did work on the I'm not worthy. So she was revealing a different identity that used to be connected to that, but there was nothing to grab onto anymore. This is what starts to happen with the subconscious freedom work. It's like as soon as there's some questions, you're like, wait a minute, but that's not even true. And then the weight of it can start dissolving away, even for a moment. But we'll keep going with this, okay? But I just wanted to acknowledge your progress because that was a powerful moment. Hey,
Yeah,
awesome.
definitely still a part that's like being like, no, like you're unworthy. But you're right that the weight of it is like a lot lighter.
Yeah. And we're going to do that because the part that's still saying no is this other part that just tried to attach to that again. And you were like, wait a minute, no, there's nothing here to attach to. That's not true. So we're going to go focus on this part over here, right? Okay. So it said, I'm not good enough for the success and the things you want. And the things you want, you said you think they'll bring you freedom. Anything else? What else do you think the success and the things you want will bring you? Freedom? Anything else?
Joy, just happiness.
Freedom, joy, happiness. Okay, take a breath with that. Okay. So if we looked at Bambi, who's sitting on a hammock right now at the beach in Thailand, pretty freaking cool. Would you ever think if I pulled her up here and I said, Bambi, I would say, Isha, do you think that Bambi is not good enough for joy, love, and peace? What would you say?
No,
Why not?
because I mean she's chilling on the beach right now, she's living her life. And just by the fact that she exists, I mean she's worthy of all of that.
Yes. The fact that she exists, she's worthy of all of that. Now, what else do we get to dissolve here? Because you said she's worthy of joy, joy, peace, love, right? Freedom. But even that has a little bit of subtlety of thinking that those are things that come from outside of us that we need to get. And that's what that next level is unfolding for you right now.
Mm.
Because there was a subconscious association of thinking that Isha needed to do something, perform in something that's the not good enough, right? For these things, for success. So the subconscious association was Isha thinking she needed to perform or do good or get certain outcomes so she could have peace, joy, love, freedom. But what's a lie about that?
That I don't need anything outside of me to experience those things
Why not?
because it's already within me and my worth is inherent and it doesn't come from things outside of me.
Yeah, yeah. So I want you to take a breath with that for a moment. Isha, do you need to do anything or be good enough to be able to experience peace, love, freedom?
No.
No. Now, everyone who's tracking this, for her, peace, love, freedom is synonymous with the success and the things she wants in her life, right? Those are the frequencies are synonymous for her, for many people. That's why I'm breaking this down so we can connect those dots. So, Isha, in this moment, if you could remember that you are peace, love, and joy, then how could you exist differently as you go on the journey of creating what you'd love to experience?
I feel like everything you've spoken about so far really resonated because I was definitely playing into the energy of I need to do this or I need to fix myself or oh, this thought of self-hate is coming up. I need to make sure it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can just relax in while still expanding and transforming. But I don't need to have this constant pressure of like matching up to something that's in my head or fixing myself all the time.
Take a breath with that. So, if you could just relax as you go about this journey of unfolding, knowing like everything we talked about, it all works out in the end. These things that are on your heart, they're inevitable or they wouldn't be on your heart, right? But what gets to happen is it gets to be so much more enjoyable and peaceful as you go about experiencing those things. You know how everyone says to be the frequency of the manifestation, like be it, then you'll see it? That's a really popular saying in personal development sayings. They say it's be, do, have, not have, do, be, or whatever it is, do, have, whatever. Be, do, have, we be it first. That's the actual breakdown of how that works. Because what she thought before, and she didn't even fully think it, like she was already, we could all see it. She was already on the side of freedom so much closer. It was just remnants, it was just tweaks. right? But there's a little bit of association of thinking that once she has the success and these things, then she'll feel peace, joy, love. But what got to happen in this moment is she got to remember that she already is peace. She already is love. She already is joy. And upon remembering that, combined with the conversation, like she said, what we were talking about before, she gets to relax and enjoy the journey of these inevitabilities of success that are on her path. And that's true success. But people have it backwards. They trade their whole lives thinking that once they get there, then they'll feel that way. But there's no get there to get. Wherever we go, there we are. So why not do exactly what we're doing here? Dissolve the illusion of thinking that we're not that. And now we get to have the time of our lives as we go on that journey. So, Isha, is it true that you're not good enough?
No,
Is it true that you're not good enough for success and the good things that you want in your life?
no,
No, you are worthy of those, aren't you?
yes.
What becomes available to you as you witness those old ideas dissolve away? What world becomes available to you?
Just a world of a lot more lightness and joy. Because I think what you were saying earlier too about criticizing myself into achieving things was really true for like the first few years of my life, or more than first few years. And it helped me a lot in school, until I got to law school and I realized like, wait, this is not actually helping me at all. And so now when you say things like you get to do this with a lot of joy and love, there's like some resistance to it because my body's like, oh wait, is that even possible? Like,
Okay, so what if it was? Just ask, what if it was possible? What if it was possible for you to experience those successes with so much more joy, so much more love, so much more peace? What if it was possible?
I mean, that's like amazing.
Take a
Like,
breath with that.
yeah, it's like the ideal situation. There's no suffering at that point.
See why we call this the Sovereign Souls calls? No more suffering. Remembering the true nature of your being. And if the body reacts in any sort of way, can you guys feel what we did there? We just questioned it, right? We sometimes we can easily do this intellectual thing where we call something something without shifting it because a part of us thinks that if we can label it, then it's done. So, for example, like the body feels resistance, like she was saying, my body feels resistance toward that. If we just ask a little bit of an extra question there, just question that a little bit, often that can soften it just enough so we can start kind of kneading out the energetic knots in the body, let the body calm down, and start bringing the body into the new world. So, how could your body start to feel in a world where you got to go on this marvelous journey of experiencing successes beyond what you can even fathom, beyond your imagination? So, what would it feel like in your body if you could experience those with the energy of peace, of joy, of love, of freedom? What could your body start to feel like?
Just like relaxed, not tense all the time, and open to receiving, and yeah, just peaceful.
It's pretty nice, huh?
Yeah,
How are you feeling?
feel good. I already feel like so much of the tension that was in the middle of my chest and solar plexus like dissolving away.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Take a breath into that. Isha, it's such a joy to get to speak with you. Keep us updated, okay? And do you have any other questions with that, or do you feel complete for now? Go enjoy the ease that opened up.
I think I feel complete, but thank you so much, Sarah.
Amazing. Thank you as well, Isha. I know that helps so many. So, I want to speak to for a moment how she mentioned the solar plexus loosened up. I want to speak to that for a moment. This is that connection between the mind and body. Those of you in the mastermind, we talk about the thought feeling loop often. When we go through that phase, this is the reminder for these things that the body is responding, and the body can respond really quickly when we shift out of those things. So the solar plexus is associated with your will. This is so huge for our society, and this is why a lot of people have a lot of scattered energy because it's backwards. Instead of associating with their divine inner power, their divine will, which actually takes a whole heck of a lot less efforting on our parts. Instead of associating with that, people are associated more with force to get some done. I need to do this. I have to do this. I need to force myself to be disciplined to do this. Not a bad thing to learn discipline. We're not saying it's bad. But once we realign with our true self, our inherent power, the divine will of the true inner power can come alive, which is why her solar plexus, she felt like the energy softened there. She didn't have to try so hard to be something because she realized she already was it. So there wasn't force anymore. Isn't it amazing how these connections work? The intelligence of the body, we're walking miracles, right? And this is where successes and projects, things get to happen from these energies of miracles. It's like the podcast I just did on joy is all about this. Realigning with the true essence of your being and letting that move through you. Where we realize we haven't had to try so hard the entire time. Doesn't mean we don't effort. It just wasn't nearly as difficult as the fuckery of the ego likes to make it. That's the theme of tonight. Sarah is saying, I don't even use that word in my regular life, but for some reason it's like I come on here and that's normal here. Whatever. We'll analyze the subconscious reasons for that next time. Um, Metzley said, do you have any guidance on experiencing fatigue throughout the day? She's excited about what she does and loves it. She just experiences fatigue and would love to shift that. So I would look at how you're relating to the things you're doing during the day. So that's where the language comes in. And I know you know this, you have taken the mastermind, but we talk about these language of insidious killers that I have to, I need to, this energy of force to get things done. So actually the conversation we just had is really effective to this because we realize that we don't have to be the ones to get it all done and instead let life force come through us, our divine will come back alive through us. So it's actually the conversation we were just having. So that's super in alignment with that. But I would look at how you're relating to doing the things. And because I've worked with you before, Metzley, I would say it's just a little bit of residue from a lot of the energy that you're already working on. Because, oh my gosh, Metzley, I know you either watch the replay or might be listening with the little one nearby, but you've made so many shifts around this. So what I would say is it's more a bit of residue. What I call this is breakthrough residue. Sometimes when we make the breakthrough, we see new ways of existing, new ways of relating to life. There's like little pockets of residue of old ways of being that we're just cleaning up a little bit to embody the new level of consciousness. So I would look at how you're relating to the things you're doing throughout the day. How are you actually relating to work? So we could love what we do, but if we relate to work with an energy of, I have to do this has to be right, or like this energy of force, then we'd be in tension as we're doing what we love, which would create fatigue. And if anyone's having remnants of energy of like thinking things need to work, they have to be the one to make it work, then that would create a lot of tension around doing work you do for your work that you love, instead of realizing it's all working out. It's inevitable. And the conversation we just had with Isha, I would actually watch it back from the lens of what you've now asked. Because the question would then be, well, okay, you love what you do, but you're very fatigued. How are you relating to what you do? Why do you do what you do? What do you think it's going to get you? Then we can backtrack in the same way that we just did with Isha. So I would definitely look into that as well. Okay, so um, Albert Green, hi. He said, I'm new here. Awesome. Welcome in. Happy to see you. He said, I feel like he feels like his blocks are around not being worthy, deserving enough to be able to live his dream. Holy moly. Well, that's just what we went through. Okay, so hold on. Live a dream life as a photographer, designer in Paris. Oh my gosh, yes, I love Paris. Okay, very cool. Photographer and designer in Paris. What a place to do it. Are you there now? Are you in Paris now? No. Okay, so that's the dream, to be in Paris, to do this. Okay, okay. He said he thinks it's related to not having role models who successfully pursued their calling and being conditioned to believe that he has to work a 9 to 5 for the rest of his life. Okay. Well, the good thing is that those are stories that can dissolve away, right? Those are just stories. Even if it feels like conditioning, those are stories that can melt away. But what I'd love to do is talk with you a little bit more back and forth. Is that okay if I bring you up to do that?
Yes.
Hi, Albert. Okay, awesome.
Hello.
So it's good to meet you. Is this our first time meeting?
Good to meet you too. Yes.
Well, it's amazing to meet you. Thank you for being here. Okay, so what did you just get from our conversation with Isha?
I think it goes back to sort of the idea of not having to seek anything external to, I guess, maybe end up where you want to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. So what do you think that well, let's do something similar there and then we'll see if there's anything else there. Do you want to work back and forth? Are you okay with that? That we go a bit more back and forth now?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, awesome.
of
There's a
course.
little bit of a lag, so if I talk over you, I apologize. Okay, so what do you feel like this dream life as a photographer and designer in Paris? What do you think that will cause you to feel more of?
I think, well, the reason actually I want to live in Paris is because the times I visited, it's just felt so like energetically aligned for me, and life and everything. So I think part of the reason I want there is to experience that sort of balance. That makes
Hmm.
sense.
Yeah, yeah, there's certain places in the world that will have signatures for us that bring us freedom, that bring us balance. That is so accurate. So when you went there, you said you felt more aligned and you felt more in balance and you want more of that.
Yeah, I have like a deep appreciation for like all things art and architecture, so it just feels very much it resonates. It's a city that resonates with me a lot.
Yeah, yeah. It's so beautiful. Okay, so could we say that does the architecture inspire you there? Is that why you said that you like it? Would it inspire you if you were there as a photographer and designer?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, cool. So is it that you want to feel more aligned, more inspired, more in balance?
Yeah, I would say it's a combination of those.
Okay. Anything else come up as we reflect this back? Aligned, inspired, balanced, anything else that would make you feel that dream life?
I guess there's one more. I've always sort of like out of place in the sense like I in a weird way do things a lot slower than other people. I feel like, and especially growing up in the US where everything is so go, go, go all the time, it's not something that's ever really like aligned with me.
Hmm.
And I think that in France, well, in Paris in particular, there's like a nice balance where it's a city, but also people are they take time to like enjoy their lives, and it's not all about being busy all the time or like feeling like you constantly need to be in that go, go, go mode.
Yeah. So if you could put that in like how you would feel. So how would you feel if you're not in that go, go, go mode?
Um, Honestly, more at ease and
Yeah, more
just
at ease.
comfortable. Yeah.
Yeah. More at ease, more comfortable.
Hmm.
Awesome. So aligned, inspired, more at ease, more comfortable. That's beautiful, right? Okay. So your thoughts were that you weren't worthy of having your dream life? That's what you were thinking? That's what you felt like was underneath?
Yes. I think because I've never really had role models who pursued a sort of artistic career. It was always people who were, I mean, my parents worked 9 to 5 jobs until they retired. Um, and so I part of me I feel like doesn't doesn't feel worthy of being able to just pursue an artistic career because that's not what was modeled to me.
Okay.
And
So
yeah.
what else were you gonna say? Sorry, there's a little of a lag. I don't know if anyone else
Oh
is.
no, no, it's okay. It might be my internet connection, but I was just gonna say that I think, yeah, part of me feels like I don't know if I'm not worthy or it's like I said not worthy because I can't really have another cause for it, but yeah, just not being because I mean I also feel like sometimes when I say that I want to live in Paris and be a photographer, it sounds a little like I mean it sounds very much like a dream, but
Mhm.
yeah, because I don't see a lot of other people really like or know a lot of other people who really are leaning into sort of their artistic passions and like trying to move abroad to do that.
Okay. All right. Yes. So I'm also picking up on that it's not necessarily not worthy, but what you keep referring to is giving us a lot of information. So you mentioned that you don't see a lot of people. That's been a theme. You mentioned, I don't see role model, like I didn't have parents, I didn't have role models who did something like this. And you don't see a lot of people who are doing things like this. So what does that leave you feeling or thinking about doing that, becoming an artist? What does that cause you to think about it?
That it's not possible or viable is this sort of
Mhm. And why not? Why is it not possible for Albert?
um I mean I think it goes back to sort of being conditioned to believe that it wasn't
Mhm.
because of the lack of role models or like people in my life who I saw doing similar things.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. For sure, a bit of conditioning. Who would Albert have to become to be able to do that?
I guess I would have to break free from that conditioning and I guess really, I mean, I feel like I'm capable of doing it. So I guess just really like lean into my gifts and talents,
Mhm.
and nurture them because they're already there. But yeah, sort of just leaning into them more.
Yeah, yes. Leaning into the more and cleaning up this piece that is lingering a little bit, right? The piece that makes you
Yeah.
think it's not possible. So what's really cool is that you know you're capable. The talents are there. You can keep refining the talents, you can keep learning the skills, and they're already there. So you can, that's already there. But what is your perception about the artistic path?
Um, Maybe Well, I distinctly remember when I told my dad that I wanted to pursue art history like a while back when I was first going to undergrad. His first response was, "Well, how are you going to make any money?"
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that sort of reinforced this idea that like if I were to pursue a career in the arts or anything related to that, it would be hard to make money and like support myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. But you know you're capable.
Wait, sorry, I missed your question.
But you do know you're capable of doing it.
Yes,
Okay. But it just feels like it would be hard to make money.
yes.
Okay. All right. So, what did it leave Albert feeling? What did it leave you feeling when you might have told dad what you wanted to do and then he said, "How are you going to make money?" What did it leave you feeling?
Um, I felt very, in a way, like powerless, but also maybe hopeless is a better
Yeah.
word.
Yeah.
Because I knew that that's what I wanted to do deep down inside.
Mm-hmm.
And then hearing that like there wouldn't be a way for me to make sort of income doing it was really, yeah, it left me
Mm-hmm.
feeling hopeless.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the energy signature that gets to shift. That's the subconscious that gets to shift. The powerless and hopeless.
Okay.
And what do you think? You think we can go into it? Are you open to
Yeah.
that? Okay, amazing. Let's see.
No, ready to. Go.
Albert might message us, be like, guys, I'm in Paris. I did it. This is what gets to happen. These shifts. Okay. So the powerless and hopeless is the energy signature. Now, when we take away the human things that we're doing, like we're talking about before, that's the actual energy signature that's being asked to expand. It's saying, hey, this isn't working anymore to feel this way about you. It's confining you. It's time to expand. Right? So those are remnants of subconscious energy. So if you think about the world, if we just put it to words that I am powerless or I am hopeless, we're not going to stay there. But if you think about those words, which one actually hits more? The I'm hopeless or I'm powerless?
I think hopeless
Yeah. Yeah.
because I know deep down that like I'm not actually powerless,
Hmm. Yeah, because you said you're
but the
capable
hope
too.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah. And what were you going to say about but the hopeless?
I was just gonna say I think that hopelessness felt worse to me because the word sort of like when I hear the word hopelessness or like when I say that's how I felt, if there was no, it wasn't an option,
Hmm.
sort of dying, for lack of a better term. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay. So, and that what would happen with hopelessness. And it is like essentially dying because the spirit is like, I want to do this thing. This is my path. This is what I want to do. And then it's being told in that moment, no, you can't do it. So it does feel like in essence dies away, but it's not going to stay there. It gets to come alive right now in this moment. And it's always been there. That's why you're having the conversation. It's already free. Like it's already like bubbling at the surface saying, okay, let's dissolve this away so we can go do this. This is the life that's for us. Right? Okay. The beautiful thing is that you already know that you're not powerless. So if you're not powerless, then what are you, Albert?
um, I assume just limited by beliefs that don't serve me.
Yes, yes, and we're unpacking those right now. We're dissolving those away right now. But let's look at the like direct opposite. So if you're not powerless, then what are you? Phone a friend to Beth. No, there might be a delay. Go ahead, Rosalina, say it. If you're
Um,
not powerless, what is Albert? Go ahead, Rosalina, say it. Say it. Unmute.
Powerful.
Beth said it. Yes.
Okay, yes.
Okay. Can we hear you say it? It's okay.
Thank
In the
you.
hot seat, it's like this. So, can you say it out
Yes, I
loud?
am powerful.
And how does that feel when you say it?
It feels good.
Does it feel true to you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing.
Um,
Oh, go ahead.
yeah.
Does it? Sorry, there's a little
I
lag
would
with
say yes. I would say like 80% yes.
Okay, 80% yes. I have a feeling this next piece is going to help it. So he says he's powerful, but 80% less. 80% yes, right? Are you still with us?
Yeah, sorry, I think I have a bad connection, so there's a little lag, but yeah,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. All right. So why would someone be hopeless? What do they think? If someone's hopeless, what do they think?
Um, that there's sort of no future ahead, and yeah, that part of them has to sort of die off, or
Mhm.
they shut it out. It doesn't exist.
Yeah. Yeah. So if someone's hopeless, then do you think they would feel powerful to make it happen?
No, and it's actually funny that you bring that up because for the longest time, like I was into photography when I was really young, and then I would say sort of after that experience with my dad, I sort of shut it out and like didn't take photos for the longest time. But
Mhm.
then recently, like in the past couple of years, I've really gotten back in, and that's when I sort of came to the conclusion that I need to pursue it.
Yeah. And you're doing it. This is happening. This is going. This is happening. And what's beautiful
Yeah,
is that here's the thing. The version of you maybe when your dad said that, the version of you when your dad said that might have been more in the powerlessness energy, which is why it's 80% now. But now that you know you're powerful, this can actually be a subtle shift. Because if you remember your power, then is there actually a need to be hopeless? Let's really think about that. If you remember your power, is there actually a need to feel hopeless?
no,
Why not?
because I feel like when I remember my power, I remember that whatever sort of obstacles that might present themselves are really non-existent because I can navigate through them or like my inherent power in my being.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you cut out a little bit, but I think what I heard you say, what we heard you say here, is that even if there's challenges, circumstances like that, that you know you can navigate them from the inherent power of your being. Is that what you said?
Exactly, yes. Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. So are you powerless?
No,
No. So then if you know you're
I'm
powerful,
powerful, yeah.
yes, if you know you're powerful, right? I am powerful. That felt good when you just said that. If you know you're powerful, you can navigate challenges from the true inner power of your being, right?
Hmm.
Then do you need to feel hopeful? Hopeless? That's what we're getting. Do you need to feel hopeless?
No.
No. What could come alive more if you know I am powerful? Say it out loud and tell me what could come more alive in your world if you know I am powerful.
If I know I'm powerful, what could come alive is sort of maybe aspects of myself and gifts that I've suppressed because I
Hmm.
did feel powerless or hopeless at one point.
Yeah. Yeah. And maybe being hopeful could come alive because you remember I'm powerful. So now, if you could dissolve away this world, this old world, right? These remnants of those energies of feeling powerless or hopeless because it's not who you are anymore. You might have felt that way in the past. There might have been some circumstances that really caused that energy to sink in, but it's not true. It's not who you are anymore. It doesn't have to be your world. So if right now you could step into a world where you're completely free of feeling that way, because you know that there's always hope because you're a powerful creator being. Life is always working out for you. You can navigate challenges from your inner power. So, if the old world of hopelessness and powerlessness could dissolve away, what world could become available for Albert Green?
A world full of hopefulness and me sort of resting on my inner power and knowing that, yeah, if there are any challenges, they don't really matter because my inner authority knows how to sort of overcome them.
Yeah. Can you take a breath into that?
Yes,
Are you able to feel it in your body?
yes.
So, then what could start to become available with your dream of photography in Paris and designer as well?
Um, I mean, I think everything that sorry, I mean, I've dreamed of just photographing all of the city's like historical architecture, uh, um, and um, doing a lot of like street photography there. So I think all of those things that really excite me, because those are the aspects of photography that I'm really interested in.
Amazing. So now let's look at this dream and see if you can feel it a bit more. Before you said it was far, but when Albert knows that he's powerful and he's hopeful because he knows he can navigate any challenge, and actually, we'll talk about the money point in a second. But if Albert knows that he's hopeful, he can navigate any challenge, he has the skills, he's a powerful being, then does it feel like that dream can be a bit closer?
Hmm.
Or does it still
Yeah,
feel far? Yeah, it feels closer.
a bit. It still feels far in some sense,
Yeah,
but a
probably the
bit
money
closer.
piece.
Yeah,
Yeah, probably the money piece. Okay, so I want to talk to you about money
yeah.
for a second. I'm just going to riff on it since there's a little bit of a lag. But I want to riff on it for a second. But I'm so happy that you got to activate that I am powerful and I get to be hopeful because I get to experience the life I really want to live. Like that's what I would really anchor in for you. Right. And if any remnants of like old versions of you, old memories pop up that might have felt powerless, those are the versions of you you literally get to hold their hand and let them know now we live in a world that we're powerful. You don't have to feel that way anymore. I've got you. We're powerful beings. Now we remember our power. Right. So helping that anchor in and realizing that when I'm powerful, of course I can be hopeful because we got this. Right. So there's the old energy. There's this, I want to talk about this energy of what people do with 9 to 5 jobs. There's programming that 9 to 5 jobs are why paychecks are consistent. All right. This is so obvious. Like maybe I said that and you're like, well, duh, Sarah, that's like how it works. 9 to 5, the paycheck's consistent. But it's not consistent because that's actually how it is. It's consistent because you believe it so deeply in your being that it keeps happening. So, 9 to 5, think about this. A company can close at any second. Is that true or what? A company can close at any second. But the reason why so many people say, oh, I get my paycheck every week, they expect it and that's why it comes until their spirit is ready to expand. And then sometimes they get booted out of the job. No one loses a job. People get booted out of experiences when their spirit is like, I'm ready for something different. Okay. We expand out of them when that happens. So now, okay. So to come back to this, money goes where it's expected, it flows. Abundance is a stream of energy that's always there, it always exists. And it goes where it's expected. Have you ever heard of like multimillionaires talk about this story who teach about money in a big way? They'll always say the same thing. They'll say, once someone knows how to make a few million, they could lose all of it and make even more in a few months. Because they tapped into the stream of abundance of realizing that it goes where it's expected. They know how to do it. But it doesn't go because of the actual strategy they use. It goes because they expect it. 9 to 5s aren't stable because they're actually stable. They're stable because people expect them to be. This is a huge shift that happens in entrepreneurship. It's huge. It's a quantum leap when we step into the world of entrepreneurship. When you start expecting certain income, not expecting from entitlement, that's not the energy. It's expecting from the energy of like, oh yeah, this is normal for me. 20K months, 50K months, this is normal for me. This is what I do. This is what happens. When you start anchoring into that energy, you will be marveled at how it just happens. It just happens. It just it just happens. You don't actually, you might have a little bit of plan for it, but it comes in unexpected ways. So this is what I want you guys, is this landing for everyone? Are we getting the energy of money? It doesn't come from the 9 to 5. It's flowing to you because the abundance is always there. And when you start expecting it from that arena, it starts flowing from that arena. Now there's a little bit of action. If we don't take any action at all, Albert, you'll have the replay of this where we're riffing on money. I saw that you were in and out. But if we don't take any action at all, we live in a 3D realm, there's some action, right? I effort still, I take some action. But it's so much easier when we remember the true energy of money. It's already there, it's already flowing. If you right now, in a moment, breathe in and breathe out. And now with your next breath, let life give you a breath as you breathe in. Let life give you a breath and exhale. And again, let life give you a breath, inhale and exhale. You don't even have to go try to take another breath. What do people say? Take another breath. But you don't have to take a breath. It's there. What we get to do is let life give it to us. Money is there. Abundance is there. And it's so much more about letting life give it to you. The same way you don't have to go find another breath. This is what people do. They say, I need to go find clients. No, you don't. They're there. Open your heart. They'll reach out. Right? And of course, some action. There's some action in there. But once the baseline action, it's 10% strategy, 90% this. Expectation and knowing you don't have to try so hard. It's there. Let life give it to you. So, what I hope can happen, Albert's a little in and out, so I'm glad I went on a riff with that instead of a little back and forth, but hopefully Albert can come back and listen to that at a time that he can. But is that helpful to talk about money in that way? Because what we're doing right now in the conversation with Albert is we're dissolving the subconscious association of thinking that income is consistent because of the 9 to 5 job. That's nonsense. It's nonsense. Now, there are some steps that can be taken to maybe have a 9 to 5 for a little bit because that's a stream of money, a channel of abundance that's already open while someone builds a business for a little bit. We're not throwing out logic with this conversation. We're still holding the logic of our current circumstances. We're just not flooding our current circumstances with the lies of thinking that money comes from that 9 to 5. Money comes because money comes. So, Albert, I know you're in and out a little bit, but I would invite you to come back and like listen to this point in the replay, because what gets to happen at the next step to create even more freedom is dissolving the idea that 9 to 5s are where consistent money comes from. Because consistent money comes because consistent money comes, and it gets to come from your business too. And when you start making the shift, maybe you do a 9 to 5 for a little bit, do photography for a little bit on the side, start building up a little bit. Maybe you go all in. I know a lot of people who work a 9 to 5 while they do this, build their business. For me, I dove right in and it was crazy for the first few years. It was crazy. But when I got this point, a lot of points of what I'm sharing with you. But when I got this point that money goes where it's expected, and it's always there, the channels of abundance are there. So, what I would invite you to do more is start playing into the realm of beginning to get your feet wet and making money in exchange for photography and design. Start playing with it, right? What could it? I would have you start asking yourself, what could I do with the current resources I have available as a creative idea that would light me up? Not just what could I do, like what's practical. We want to bring your joy alive. So let's ask it differently. What would I love to do that would light me up, that would be so freaking cool if I got paid in exchange for that? That's the question I would ask. Okay. Literally, like I want the feeling to come alive in you that's like, this is my life? Like I get paid for that? Are you kidding me? Can you feel that energy? I'm being very dramatic. Hopefully you can sense
Yes.
energy. Yeah. So it's like that feeling of like,
Yes.
that giddiness, that excitement that's like, oh my gosh, it gets to be this good. Like that's it. That's what I want you to ask yourself. What would bring you that feeling when you think about being able to get paid in exchange for that? And then see with your current resources available how you can start taking step by step toward that. Because that level of joy, this is for everyone, that level of joy will fuel miracles in your life. And it will give you an energy, like a level of life force energy that it's like you can come home from the 9 to 5, and maybe in the past you might have been exhausted, but you're so fueled up by what you're creating and building that you're like, I don't care, I'm going to go work right now. Like, I'm going to go do this right now. Because you're leaning into the thing that's going to bring you so much more joy that you're excited about, that brings that spark of life alive in you. Okay. And I would go listen to the podcast a few times I have on the Joy podcast, the one that just went out last week, to help like sync that in for the next steps. So, Albert, how are you feeling? Is this effective? Do you feel like you have some good next steps for you?
No, this all feels much really, yeah. Yeah. I mean,
I didn't hear you, but I heard yeah. So we're gonna go with the yeah. But thank you so much, Albert. I'm so happy you're here, and I hope you keep us updated and let us know how it goes. And I hope to get to see you again. And for everyone here, this, just so everyone knows, because we've been doing these sessions for free for about a year and a half, but this space is evolving. It's evolving into the Sovereign Souls Collective, and it's going to be $11 a month. But what you are going to get with that $11 a month are monthly sessions like this. You can ask questions, you can raise your hand for personal support, and you're going to get a lot more. Because what I want, like, I'm just going to let you in on my heart and what I want to co create with you. Like, what I'd love to co create with you is a space you can really plug into to remember, that is very accessible and very easy for you to plug into. And when I was creating the free community, I wanted to keep giving you guys things. Like, I'm like, I want to give meditations and I want to do this and I want to do that. But I'm like, it feels too dispersed. Like, I want to bring everyone in one space that's truly a container that's we're all growing together, right? So, what you're going to get inside of that is the monthly sessions that we do this. You're also going to get 72-hour perspective upgrades. Remember the party we had in Telegram? Did you guys like that? You get a lot of value out of that. It was awesome. I had like, there were 20-minute voice notes to every person. It's like a mini podcast feed. It's really awesome. So, we're going to do that as well. We had a lot of talks about business, about money, about marketing as well, because I do mentor people in business. So, those questions are very welcome here. So, anyway, to go back to it, so you get 72-hour perspective upgrades, and what that's like is having a little coaching session in your pocket. You know, it's like we don't even have to come on a call. We're just literally listening to voice notes and getting upgrades. And it's awesome because you can go on a walk and listen to it. So you have monthly sessions, the 72-hour perspective upgrades. Those might not happen every month, but they'll happen almost every month. Okay? They're going to be frequent. We're going to say they're frequent. And you're going to get guided meditations. All right. They're going to be short to start until we get a vibe of the community and everyone can say, hey, they be longer now? Can we have some longer ones, shorter ones? But they're going to be shorter to start. But these meditations are all going to be focused on a subconscious level, creating freedom, realigning with the limit essence of your being. And then I want to create them based on themes. So this is shifting over to a membership, and I would love to see you guys there. It's going to be an amazing resource for your support, for your energy of remembering. And I'm so ready to co-create a marvelous space with you and to be able to support you in your journey of remembering, in your journey of creating your dreams. So the Sovereign Souls Collective does open up today. So I can send it in the chat if you guys want to join in. It would be amazing to see you there. I'm so happy. Yes, thank you for congratulating on the expansion. I hope to see you in there and that we can continue growing in that space. I'm excited to co-create this space with you. Those of you in the mastermind, you get this as a part of the mastermind. So if you want to be in the Sovereign Souls collective while you're in the mastermind, you get that for free. So you don't have to worry about signing up right now. If you're in the mastermind, you guys will have a link to that. Okay, it's a part of being in the mastermind. Oh yeah, awesome. Yeah, of course. Okay, so the next session for the Sovereign Souls Collective, we're gonna have our first session on the 28th of August. Okay, so in 2 weeks from now, we're gonna have our opening session for the Sovereign Souls Collective. The live calls might be a little different. They might get a little more active in terms of what energies are happening with the group. So we might do exercises together based on things. We're gonna be able to really grow together in a space that's, you know, a little bit more tight knit and a little bit more regular people inside of the community. So I'm so happy to be able to co-create with you. And August, please go ahead. You want to say something? Please do. I haven't heard from you in a bit. It's
Oh
good to
my
see you.
goodness. Okay, so hi. Hi everybody.
Hi.
The different version of me out here. I just wanted to say, like, from the depths of the non-existent depths, because it just keeps going and just flowing and there's no division. But anyways, of my heart, illusory, don't worry about it. Thank you for just existing and putting yourself out there and like transmuting every all fucked up shit you've been through, which I'm, on the vibe too. And transmuting that and coming out here and sharing it to the people. And I just want to say I want to share a win with you, okay? Because I don't know if you remember last time we talked, that one time. That one time we talked.
Oh, I remember. That was
Remember?
freaking powerful.
Well,
Yeah.
I finally did it. I finally did it. I'm sharing my story. I ripped off the Band-Aid. Did I go through another dark night of the soul up until last Friday? Yes, but I busted out of it on Friday. And I just followed intuition that was like, say this stuff online, make social media for the first time. And I ripped the Band-Aid off. Thanks to all your words of support, remembering all of that stuff. Okay. All of that stuff was key in me being able to, I'm just saying. And I posted it with like just a random account, just posted something that came from my heart. It's been a few days. It's over 100,000 views. And it's like definitely in line with everything you're talking about. And I found you because of a personal experience I went through where like subconscious, everything. Anyways, so I just want to share that. I want to say thank you. I want to say go check out this video because it's might have some codes for you in there that you can also, for the good of all.
Oh my gosh, let us know. Message the handle in the chat so we can go look at it.
I made a TikTok. It's August being August.
Oh, it's on TikTok?
Yes.
Okay, so can you send the link in the chat? Because I don't have TikTok, so I'll need to look at it on a
Oh, the
browser
link of
like
the
an old
video.
person.
Yeah. It felt less scary to do that one, so I just went with that one. I didn't have social media before it, so did it.
Awesome. I'm celebrating you so much. I'm so happy for you. Let's freaking go. You are going to help so many people with your story, with sharing your light, even the
Already
energy
happening.
you just brought here. Thank you. You are such a gift, and thank you for the thank you as well. I'm so happy for you. I'm celebrating you so freaking much, August.
Like you're just like here forever now.
Oh, same here. Same here. Thank you so much.
Love
Thank you.
you. Love
I
you all.
care. I
All
care.
of you.
That was such a gift. Thank
All
you.
of you a parent use.
That was such a freaking gift. Thank you for sharing that. Oh my gosh, I love this so much. It's so cool to hear updates from all of you. Like that update just made my day. That session, do you guys remember that session with August? That was so freaking powerful. I could cry thinking that changed me when we had that session together. I like there's like what you shared and what you shared about what you're going through and even what you shared about what you see in the spiritual communities, how like you thought they would be accepting and they weren't. That changed me because I like it literally made me realize that's how important these spaces are. Because spaces that are truly accepting, that we're truly accepting, matter so much now. Like that changed me. I was crying after that session. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful for him.
Yeah.
So
And I
thank
just
you too.
want to add to that from inspiration being generated from all of us, the collective, sparked by you, Sarah. You said forget what's going on in the outside world. Forget if anyone understands. Forget if anyone accepts it. Forget if anyone validates it. Just put it out there. People who need it or want to hear it or need that community, just make that. Just make a little container. It could be one person, could be a million people. And I don't know if I would have ever done that without that moment we shared. So I don't even know what to say right now. Speechless. It's ineffable. So much love. Okay, that's it.
Thank you, August. I'm speechless as well. Thank you. Such a gift. Amazing. We're gonna keep creating these miracles together, everyone. That's what like you said, like August said, it's like the energy from the collective. You also just inspired me even in this moment. Like that's what the Sovereign Souls Collective is meant to be. Like a tight-knit container where we can really plug in, remember, support one another. We're also going to do more community things to get everyone connecting a bit more too and have opportunities for that. So I hope to see you guys on the inside of that. Our call is on August 28th, and you can sign up and cancel at any moment. So if any of you are like, do I have to sign up for a whole year of it? No, it's not like that. You can cancel on your own. You have access to cancel on your own. So you can literally sign in, check it out, cancel at any moment. If you don't want to be a part of it, come back at any moment, just so you know it's full of freedom. So even you joining and leaving gets to be free. But Sharon was asking me, my team was like, are we gonna let them like just cancel on their own? I'm like, yes. Have you ever been a part of a membership that someone like made you like call them or like a gym membership? It's like that's not freedom. Like if people had to like email us to cancel, that's so freaking lame. We're not doing that to people. So anyway, it's gonna be awesome. I hope to see you there. The session will be August 28th, and just thank you all so much for tonight. Go ahead and share your takeaways in the chat, your aha moments. It's amazing. And I'll see you in the chat in the meantime, and I'll keep updated about the Sovereign Souls Collective as well. Thank you all so much. Had an amazing time tonight.
Thank
Bye.
you, everyone. Bye.
Bye, baby. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much. Remember the Sovereign Souls you've always been.